And I'm also happy to see faces that I don't seem familiar to me, but I know that we're together in the human experience. So we are, very on the same adventure of being a sensitive human being. So I'm happy to see you and to read also names that I don't think I know. Uh, and Yeah, it's true that the first time I taught on Samish Island with the Bellingham Sangha, I not only was I not graduated, I had only started the 4-year teacher training by a couple of weeks, I think, or maybe not even. I remember Heather Martin saying, "No, no, no, you can do this," and I was like, "No, no, 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 I will one day." And she was like, "No, no, let me talk to Jack Cornfield." And she said, Jack said, "No, no, he hasn't even started really yet." And she's like, I'll take care of everything," as she does, dear Heather. And I remember also the last time, so like Eugene, I don't know how many times I've had the chance, the chance to be on Samish Island in the spring with some of you or many of you. But the last time was with Heather's. I think it was her, at least supposed to be. I think it was her last time coming to teach on Samish Island, and with the herons flying by and all the birds. Is it swallows that come like really near, down near, and all? Such a beautiful, and all the little colored cabins. Yeah. I have good memories, good food over there. And last year, we had to cancel the retreat. If some of you will remember this. And some of you are hearing this, and because you're in Siberia or in the UK, or it might not resonate so much, but it's good. It's storytelling. So it brings you in, say, hey, you're part of a group of people who are meeting again, and you're absolutely welcome in this warm and friendly gathering. And we have 2 days to explore the teachings together and practice together. And I'm so happy about this because, I know, it's good to do this together. It can be very powerful. And I know that personally for me, it's good. So I'm happy to be there because I know I'm going to benefit from this gathering. It's the best thing that can happen in my life. Otherwise, my mind can go in all kinds of directions. When I'm left on my own without the community or without the role of a teacher. So it keeps me in line for the practice. So I'm thankful for you for the trust that you either give me or are willing to try out a bit, giving me a little bit of trust in, facilitating that this weekend. Maybe one of the most important thing or first thing to say, an extremely important thing to mention, is that the Bellingham Sangha and the Samish Island where we meet often is on Coast Salish territory. So I'm going to say this a little bit in my words here, if you allow me. So there's ancestral land that many of you are gathered on. And I was doing some research this morning. I was a little bit ahead of you because of time zone. I'm in Montreal right now, which is known, by the way, as Jojage of the Kanyan-Kehaga peoples. It's an unceded territory. But for you, I could see that around Bellingham area, if I'm not mistaken, from my little research that I did, there's at least 66 tribes that live in the area. And I noted just some that seem to be around the Bellingham area, and they might be where you live. So the Nuksak people, the Samish Pipe people, of course, Lumni, Nuaha, Skagit, the upper Skagit, the lower Skagit people, the Tulalip, the Swihomish, the Snohomish. I hope I'm not making too big mistakes in the naming. The Semia Mo people, the different tribes who have been there for a long time taking care of these lands are still alive. You might be part of these communities, peoples, nation, tribes. If you are, I'm so happy you're here. And I think I want to express maybe for all of us, support for the steward of the lands we live on, for all indigenous people, so that they can have power and resources and be able to care for the waters and lands that we live on. And in the area of Bellingham, of the Salish coastal people, and in the area of where I am, and where, globally we could say. And it seems even more important these days to name this. I don't know how you feel, if like me, you are, a descendant of settlers. And I was having a conversation this week with J.D. Doyle, who's a teacher from the West Coast, the US West Coast. And J.D. they were talking about, what is it like to actually be the descendant of people who have harmed a lot of people, people who have, committed cultural genocides and have stolen lands and, talk about mindfulness. Wow. That is an area for mindfulness here, to actually be able, without denial, without fear and shame, to actually go into these areas of, acknowledging, especially with what happened last week. I don't have to say more. Huh? I could just say these few words, and I think we all agree on what I'm pointing to. White supremacy, how, it's been there for hundreds of years, alive and well, and still is, so powerful in the US and in Canada. So we have a lot of mindfulness to bring in a lot of different areas of our, psyches and relationships. And I think it can be an amazing tool to actually gather the courage, the honesty, the stability of mind, to actually look at who we are, where we come from, where we're going, how we are in relationships with every one of us. Yeah. I truly hope it's okay that I say these few words. And if it's not, I think it's practice for you, to see how it reverberates in you. I think it's really good practice. I'm saying all this also, and I know that some of you are activists in these areas, you are educators, and you know a lot more than I do. But because I'm given the microphone today, I think it's important that I use it well as a white cis male, that I use the time that I'm given, and the power in a way that I'm given, to say, how much it is important to bring the spiritual work in these areas. Otherwise, it's kindergarten spiritual work, me on the cushion and my emotions, extremely important, but it goes way beyond that, way beyond that. And as we're at it, it's important to say that, all gender expressions are welcomed in this gathering. All sexual orientations, all whatever our age is, or bodily abilities. And I think it's an amazing thing that we have these retreats now online that kind of appeared since a year, at least in my life, because I think it gives access to the teaching to many people who in a way are marginalized when we do residential retreats, because of accessibility, because of, many reasons. And so, I would like every one of us who are here to feel absolutely welcome, whatever your mother tongue is, skin color, the, you know, the you know, the heritage of your, you know, people, whatever culture you identify with, you know, dominant culture or counterculture, or the Dhamma. The, you know, the Buddha was an activist. He really wanted to make the teachings available to everyone, no matter what class they belong to or caste. You know, women, men. You know, but you know, even beyond this kind of binary way to perceive reality, you know, which many of us are doing now, questioning even that, male, female, you know, it's being questioned. Oh my God, don't touch this, I don't agree. Well, everything is up for question in the Dharma. How amazing is that? You have to be very courageous to come here, willing to reconsider every assumption. This is sati, this is the Buddha's teaching. How amazing is that? That everything is up for, you know, a closer look. Okay, again, thank you so much for allowing me to present things in this way. You know, it can be a relief for some of us. You know, well, oh my God, it's a good way to talk about this, and for some of us, it's going to be scary. Oh, he's shaking the Dhamma. You know, don't shake the Dhamma so much. You know, no. Or the way you've heard it, maybe. I'm not doing anything new. You know, I'm following my dear. You know, my dear spiritual leaders, such as, and I just named J.D. Doyle, but others also, you know, Ruth King and Arina Weissman, and so many who are, yeah, are shaking the white, normative, restrictive, oppressive Buddhist teachings for the well-being of all, of everyone. Wow, did you expect to see this in your lifetime? You know, just when you thought, you know, it's all been straightened out by the Western folks, you know, no. I think it's very important as we start our day and weekend of practice also to acknowledge that these teachings have been alive for a long time, centuries, millennia. They lived and still are alive. They lived a lot and still are alive in Asia. And so we're redevant in French. We're indebted, maybe we could say, to generations of generations of people in Asian countries who have, you know, where the teachings were born and where they were passed down, transmitted carefully, caringly, generously for time immemorial, if I can say it like this, and still today so alive over there. Yeah, so vibrant, the way they so vibrantly did they transmit these teachings that we can practice in this very contemporary way here today, you know. So we are in relationship with generations of the past. It also means we're in relationship with generations of the future. How does that feel? So the way that we practice will influence the way we live as citizens, as consumers, as you know, and it will have an impact on people who will come. And so that's why we practice also to be. I'll use an expression that I've heard many times now. Laila Saad, I think, say, you know, we're practicing to become good ancestors. What a beautiful view. Huh? We want to be good ancestors. I'm actually doing this work with a group of friends and colleagues. There's 10 of us, white, Anglos and Francos, who are reading her book called Me and White Supremacy. And we're taking a year and a half to meet very regularly to, read a little chapter and then take a few hours to talk about, bringing our mindfulness where it counts the most. The Dhamma, the Buddha said, it's about suffering and the end of suffering. Only about this. And so I think for many of us now, it's really time to step up here, and again, bring the mindfulness where it hasn't maybe gone yet. And for those of us, those of you, those of us who have been waiting, so long, thank you for, being still there. Giving just a moment of space to silence, to welcome silence in, as it's going to be one of our good friend during this retreat. So silence as a way to encounter life, as a way to bring in, to cultivate the listening skills. To allow things to be revealed, instead of us kind of laying a trip on things, like telling things what they are or should be, or bringing in a little silence so that they can reveal themselves with our high quality presence. So silence is a value for us here, a tool, and so maybe is slowing down. So I want to name these things so we remember them, because many of us have a strong practice. I know some of you have been practicing longer than I have, but it's good as a community to come together and say, hey, what do we want to remember here today? Silence and slowing down so that we can notice a little bit more what's happening in body, in heart, mind. Simplicity, something we want to remember also, simplifying the activities today is going to allow, it's going to create the conditions for insight. Not being so busy with technology, using it very simply for us to connect, and hopefully nothing else. Silence, slowing down, simplicity will create some space for us so we can feel. We're letting go of productivity, efficiency, a little bit, exploring more the timeless, going towards the timeless or deep time. We're not on a timeline, like kind of racing on a timeline, like trying to achieve inside before the end of the retreat or something like this. We let go of that kind of view. In a way, we're entering a field of non-violence, non-harming. It's very much what we're doing. It's a way to describe the whole practice. We come as a community to actually listen. And as we do this, we're going to create less harm inside of us and around us. We're entering a field of harmlessness, a field of benevolence, hopefully. And we're going to cultivate this together, like moment by moment, slowly. And we also are entering an amazing field of generosity, as you know. Not just thinking of Linda and Steve and Patrice, and Jean, and I see Caroline, and you know the Bellingham Sangha is very alive with volunteers, you know, that make this gathering possible. And for me, of course, I'm thinking of my teachers and Heather and other who actually have been very patient to show me the way. You know, no, Pascal, I'll give you the instructions again. You just sit there. You don't try to figure everything out. You just listen, you know. So much generosity and patience. So we're entering that field, you know, where we benefit from the care of others, from the past, long time, from the recent past. And now, it's actually happening now, the generosity. I'm thinking of Steve and Linda, they're practicing, but they also keep an eye, I think, on us, you know, so everything goes smoothly. That's very generous.